Hi everybody, thank you for joining me here today in the project room where I'd like to discuss something that actually has me kind of concerned, and that's the 2019 coronavirus coming out of Wuhan in China. And this video obviously isn't going to have the same tone as the majority of my videos where they're really upbeat because, like I said, this has me a little bit worried. I think that it has the potential to become a worldwide pandemic, and I'm not a doctor, obviously, but I do have a big interest in infectious diseases and things like that that started probably before this, but I remember back in high school I read two books about Ebola Zaire, and one was fictional, one was fact. One was called The Zone, the other was called Hot Zone. And I enjoyed reading them and found them really interesting, and from then I've been kind of interested, sorry about the itchy nose, I've been kind of interested in viruses and things like that, and I have to say I've never been concerned to this level about something becoming a pandemic that would strike globally. I remember during the SARS epidemic in 2003, a lot of people were concerned about it becoming a global pandemic, and I really wasn't. But this one I am. This one seems to tick all the boxes in terms of what the authorities and the experts have been telling us for decades would be those things that could lead to the next global pandemic. In the 1918 Spanish flu epidemic, it was, I think, 50 million people who died. And, the experts have told us that we're actually overdue for another pandemic. And the thing is, why it ticks all the boxes for this to potentially be the one. Now, keep in mind, as I'm saying, that I'm worried and I'm concerned. These are just my opinions based on what I see. And I could be overreacting, it's very possible, or I could be concerned to the right degree, but situations could change and the virus could burn itself out, which is, hopefully what's going to happen. The boxes it ticks for becoming potentially the next big pandemic are that, okay, we have the rapidity, the fast travel of human beings from one place to another with airplane travel and things like that. Meaning if something breaks out, someone's contagious and can spread it, they can take off on an airplane and bang, within hours be anywhere else to start a flare up there. And we have that, obviously. Also, there are certain characteristics for the Wuhan virus that make it dangerous. And those are that, first of all, it's called a novel virus. It's a coronavirus, but they refer to it as being novel or new. What they mean by this is that it's a virus that the human species has never encountered before. Having never encountered it, we don't have the recognition in our immune system to fight it. So our body doesn't know that it's an enemy, and that's frightening. Also, it's transmissible from one person to another, and that's a scary thing. Another scary thing about it is that it can be transmitted through a cough or a sneeze, which with some things that's not as likely. Also, the virus can then live for quite a while on a surface. If droplets from that cough or sneeze land on a surface, and then somebody can go, they can put their hand on it, then touch their face, and you have a new case. And also, and this is a biggie. One of the things that they really, really, really worried about this has, and that is that you can spread it during the incubation period. Yeah, scary. The incubation period is the period between when you actually get the disease and when you show symptoms of it. Yeah, so with the new coronavirus coming out of Wuhan, you're contagious before you even know you have it. You're walking around, you're fine, and you can spread it to other people. And we do have a way to detect it, but this test is only being used in cases where someone's showing, say, a fever or some kind of symptom that could be this disease. And we're only really testing people in China and people coming to different countries from China. And the way we're testing them is if they have those presenting symptoms, then we run a test for the genetic makeup of the virus. They've already mapped that out, which is impressive, because this virus, I think, only appeared on the stage in December 2019. So within a month, they've mapped it out. Pretty cool. And so they can test for it and then determine if an individual has it or not. However, here's the catch. Being that you can transmit it during that period before you show symptoms, nobody knows you even have it. You don't have anything going on. You know, it's just infected you and hasn't made you show symptoms yet. And let's say you get off a plane, they're testing for fevers. You don't have any symptoms yet, you go off that plane, who knows how many people you can give it to before the authorities even know you have it. Even if you do report to the proper medical authorities immediately upon knowing that you're sick, you could very well have infected a lot of people by then. The incubation period, they're saying, is around 10 days, up to 14, and they've seen as low as like 1 or 2, but generally it's right around 10 days. So you've got like a week and a half to run around infecting people before you know you're sick. And they're not going to test you until you show those symptoms. So who knows? And China is getting a lot of they're getting a lot of applause, really, because they've really taken extreme measures now to try to control the spread of the Wuhan coronavirus. They have cut off and quarantined whole cities, big cities. The first one to be quarantined was Wuhan. If I remember correctly, and I might be wrong, it's about 50 million people. It has a higher population than London, and they've quarantined it. They also quarantined Beijing, and I think at this point they've quarantined other cities as well. But in my opinion, they basically closed the barn door after the cows had left. Yeah. Because they took a while to get around to doing this. They had a big buffet right there in Wuhan that all these people went to. They announced ahead of time, which I can't see how they wouldn't have had to, so that people could prepare. But they announced a little bit ahead of time, I think it was like 10 hours or something, that they were going to quarantine the city. In that time, people were rushing to get back to their homes if they didn't live there and things like that. And they took the virus with them if they had it. And now it's been declared by the Chinese president to be a national health emergency throughout the nation of China, or the People's Republic of China. And this is concerning. This is very concerning. I think as of this morning, their report said nearly 3,000 people confirmed to have it in China and 80 deaths from it. I really do not trust those numbers. The Chinese government has a really long history of lying about this kind of thing. And, I hear people saying that it's really great that they're being so transparent in regard to this outbreak. But while they are giving us or seem to be giving us a lot, if not all of their information that they're learning about how it's transmitted, how long the incubation period is, things like that, traits of the disease itself. I think they're numbers. I think they're fudging those in a huge way. They were building a hospital in Wuhan. They amazingly quick. They wanted to have this entire hospital of 1,000 beds built within 6 days. Then they determined those wouldn't be enough beds, and they decided they're going to build another hospital as well. Now, I'm thinking that these are probably hospital beds meant for people in the Wuhan area. So they're looking to have a lot more cases. And the thing is, they're already, because of the number of cases they're seeing and how quickly they're coming in, of both suspected and confirmed cases of this disease, it's already overwhelming their medical infrastructure, in my opinion. They're running out of a lot of supplies. I think they've had their military take medical people into Wuhan to help the exhausted medical staff there have a little bit of help. And they're running out of I think it's done with a test strip to find out, to confirm whether you have the disease. And I think they're running out of those. I think I heard that as well from a reputable source. If you want to find out more about the disease too, before I go on and forget, I've created a playlist here on my channel where I've been uploading different news reports and conferences from things like the World Health Organization and things like that. And I don't know, it just, in my opinion, while it might slow things down, the quarantines they've put in place in China, it's not going to stop it. It's already escaped the boundaries of their quarantines, and it's already escaped the nation. We have cases now as of this morning. And another thing about this is the number of cases of confirmed infection are increasing day by day, if not hour by hour. And, so it's spreading faster as things go on. And they say, Chinese officials have also said that it's spreading more easily as well. So as time goes on, I don't know if that's the case, but that's what I heard them say. And so you have cases now in Europe, in a lot of different Asian countries, in North America, in Australia. I haven't seen anything up till now showing confirmation of cases in South America or Africa. But we have cases in the United States, Canada, France. France, I think, was the first one outside of China, or maybe just the first one outside of Asia, the first European country to get it. But they do have a lot of really good things in place, tactics and practices that they put in place after the SARS epidemic. And so they're handling things well, but I don't think it's going to be good enough. I really don't. I don't see how they can be able to stop a pandemic when we can't even identify this. I mean, we could if you tested every single person on the planet to see if they've got the virus. There's no way. That's just not feasible. I don't think that it's passed during this period when it's just incubating. I don't see how they're going to stop it. You can't see who has it. And it's already spread to countries all over the globe. So I really think this is going to be the one. I really think this is going to be the next global pandemic, and it really scares me. It really, really does. Now, it has a lethality rate, a mortality rate. It kills, whichever it is, it kills about, I think they said about 2.6% of the people who get it. Now, that sounds like a really low amount, but remember, these are early days. We are going based on the numbers we have so far. And like I said, I don't think China reports these things accurately. They might be downplaying how many people are dying from this. But at the beginning of an epidemic, supposedly the health officials for like the WHO, CDC, things like that, are more likely to have higher numbers in terms of percentages of people who are killed by a disease than there really are. And as the disease progresses, you find that it's not that many. But I don't know. And even if that is the case, we've got almost 3% of people who get it dying. I mean, think of your own town or your city in which you live. How many individuals are represented by that 2 or 3%? And not only that, but you have people who don't pass away but get sick, really sick. Some of them. Some just end up with what seems kind of like a cold. But a lot of people get really, really sick with it even if they don't pass away. The people who die, it's because when they have this disease, it can then cause pneumonia. And then it can also lead to the kidneys shutting down. And either of these things can kill a person. And the thing is, I keep saying that, sorry, but we don't have any way to prevent it. It'll probably take at least a year to develop a vaccine for it. We don't have any real way to treat it. The antiviral medications don't work on it. We don't have any antivirals that do it. Basically, what we're doing right now is if someone goes to the hospital because they're that sick, we're just trying to keep them alive until their body wakes up, recognizes it has a virus, and fights it off. We put them on a respirator if they can't breathe. We treat pneumonia, and we put them on dialysis, I think, for if they have the kidney failure. Just try to keep them alive until their body fights it off, because we don't have any way to stop it. So, again, I could be worrying too much, but I am concerned about this. And it does sound like the experts are as well. If you listen to news conferences put out by the World Health Organization and the Centers for Disease Control and by, say, political officials and things like that, government officials, you're going to hear them, if you listen really closely, what they're saying factually is frightening. And then they're spinning it in a way to try to keep people from panicking. And that's their job. They don't want mass hysteria. They don't want social disorder. They want people to remain calm. And I don't think, like they keep saying, for example, that it is a declared emergency in China. And, when people are asking them questions about how concerned should we be, etc., they're quite often responding with, oh, there's no reason to call it an emergency anywhere else yet. And really honest one will tell you that, yeah, it is cause for concern. We're probably going to get more cases, but we have the system in place to deal with them and things like that. I think there's cause for a lot more concern than they're letting on. I really do. Because of all the things that we've already talked about. I don't see how it's not going to be really bad. And basically, what they're telling you is your best defense against it is to wash your hands frequently and try not to go into public places and around big groups of people if you don't have to. And those things make sense. And don't touch your face with your hands if you're out in public. They're saying that wearing a mask isn't necessarily a good thing. People don't really use them correctly. With the thin masks, you're breathing into them, and once they get moist from your breathing, they're not effective. In fact, they might even hold the virus. The more effective masks, you have to make sure they're form-fitted to your face. You should wear glasses or goggles or something like that when you're out in public to avoid getting it in your eye, because again, it can be spread through coughs, sneezes, things like that. And even if you try to cover your cough or your sneeze, some of it still gets away. And not only that, but let's say you sneeze into your elbow, into the crook of your arm, or cough into it. You're getting that virus on your elbow, and if someone touches your arm, there they've got it on their hand, if you have the virus. Or if you touch somebody else and they have the virus, you can give it to yourself. The ways it finds its way into the body is through the eyes, nose, and mouth, of course, and it locks into the lungs. So they've told us that you don't have to worry about eating an animal that has it, because your stomach acid will kill off the virus. But it's when you breathe it in that it's a problem, and it's going to happen with a lot of people, and we don't know when it's going to happen. We won't be able to see as it's spreading until someone has symptoms. We won't know that they have it. And so it can already be really running rampant in an area before anybody there knows. Now, as I say all this stuff, remember, the authorities are telling us there's no need to worry. They might be right. I might be Chicken Little here. The sky is falling, and it's not. So keep that in mind as you listen to me. If you'd like to talk about it at all, give us your insights, any new information you have. I'm going to probably be doing more videos that are going to be different than this one, and instead focusing on just giving updates and most recent facts and things like that. I don't know that I will, but I can't see me not doing it, at least some. And I will continue to upload things into my 2019 coronavirus playlist. If you have anything you'd like to add or talk about in the comments section, of this video, just be polite, be kind, discuss things without fighting, but feel free to talk about anything in regard to this and what you think. And, do you think that I'm worrying too much, or do you think that there's cause to be really concerned with this? Do you think it's gonna become a global pandemic? What do you think of the fact that we have isolated cases in all these different countries? Do you think they're going to remain isolated, or do you think that having all these different points spread out of confirmed cases, that's going to give a lot of different areas for it to get a foothold and spread more quickly? Let me know what you think, okay? And again, I will probably be doing more videos. I will definitely be uploading more videos to that playlist. So, just take care of yourselves, and you have a great day. Do something that you really enjoy, and spend time with the people that you love. Unless you're in Wuhan or any place else that's considered a hot zone. Okay, thanks a lot, and I'll catch you the next time here at Home with Melissa. Thank you.